Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great week, or will have a great week. We've got another group that we're going to be working with today. I'm working at a different house. This is a house that the basement flooded, and it's the office where she works from home. They've gutted it out. They've put in a drainage system for it, and we've got to frame it up, drywall it, and try and put flooring down in 2 days. So we've got lofty expectations on what we are going to try and do, and we'll see how much of it we can get done. So the Dallas Cowboys, this is the hype time right now because the rookies have been drafted. You've got the guys coming back from injuries. You got the schedule released. So, you got to figure out, is it better off having the worst games earlier and a softer schedule towards the end? No matter what happens, everybody's going to have something negative to say and so on. And it just is what it is. And through the course of our live stream, I was finally able to do one yesterday, which is great. I just have to go down to the lobby and do it. And I'll probably do that tonight for our live stream at 9 o'clock Eastern, so that way we can do what we do. We were having conversations about the Dallas Cowboys failing in the playoffs and about plays being made. Now, more than anything else, the question was, do the Dallas Cowboys have a culture problem? Or what is the reason that they don't succeed when it comes to playoffs? And my buddy Walker Wade, he is 100% correct when he says that we have to beat San Francisco during the regular season. We have to get some confidence from being able to beat them. That has become our bugaboo and our nemesis. But more than anything else, I think part of the success of the Cowboys is also their downfall. We have so many primetime games. Every year, we earn more primetime games than anybody else. We get more press coverage than anybody else. The only contract we talk about is Dak Prescott. Even though Deshaun Watson is getting $8 million more this year on the salary cap. Not only this year, next year, and the year after, because he's got a fully guaranteed contract. Nobody is talking about him, and he was not a runner-up MVP like Dak Prescott was. You follow what I'm saying here? You follow what I'm saying? Nobody's talking about that. They're only talking about Dak Prescott. Kind of interesting, right? But the thing is I still believe that the Cowboys went into the Green Bay game figuring we're at home. We never lose at home, so it's just done, And they didn't show up. It's just that simple. It's literally that simple. Sometimes you can believe the hype and think that you're more than what you really are, until you get slapped down to reality and you realize you're not. And that's where I think the Cowboys need to get that dose of reality and that sense of urgency and that hunger to be better. And I'm hoping that, this is all we can do is hope and pray that they finally get it right. But all we can do is hope that they finally get that maybe Mike Zimmer on the sidelines is able to really motivate guys and hold people accountable for their mistakes. And if we're going to be successful, what we're going to need is some of our guys to step up, like that free agent influx of talent. We got rid of Hankins, and we need Mazi, who, the whole Mazi situation was just screwed up. They wanted him to lose weight. Maybe he lost too much weight. They tried to play him at a 3 technique when he's a 1 technique. It was just bad. And of course, he's had off-season surgery, and so he won't really be able to be ready until training camp to really get into all of the ifs, ands, and buts of practicing and all that. But if the Cowboys can get a injection of talent there on the defensive line, and they're going to have to, because that's where we are thinnest. I still would look at it and say I would love to see them bring in a couple more players on the defensive line, some experience. I'd love to bring in Calais Campbell. Game Time said he heard that the Eagles were talking to him, but I have not seen anything about that, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see on that. But if the Cowboys can get a little bit more from Mazi, who didn't exactly play awful, he didn't get that much of an opportunity. If they can get some more from Overshow, and if Schoonmaker can become at least the second tight end, all of a sudden you are in much better position than you were last year. And this is the thing that is lost in the Cowboys is you immediately think about Saquon Barkley because you've seen when he's had really good years and things like that, and you're running and stuff. But you don't look back and say, but they lost DeAndre Swift, who actually had a better season than Barkley. You see what I'm saying here? The Eagles, they get the headlines and they get the pump up because of the players they sign, but they don't talk about the players that they lost, that they constantly have that roster turning over and bringing in big name players. Now, it's worked for them for the most part pretty well, but what's worked with the Cowboys at least is doing what they're doing and bringing in their guys. They always will tell you, we believe in our guys, and right, wrong, or indifferent, I think what you really need to get there is to marry up a little bit of both ideas. It's great to be able to find, a Terrence Steele, that's an undrafted rookie free agent, and be able to have him as a starter. But at some point, you got to look at it and say, maybe I need to bring in just a couple more pieces to get over the hump. Now, I'm going to get ready to get downstairs and do some things, but I want to touch on this with Jimmy Johnson with an interview that he had with Colin Cowherd, a little bit about how the schedule works out with the Cowboys having the tougher games early and, of course, the easier games later on.
He lives down in Miami. He coached at Miami twice, NFL and college. So I was thinking when we were bringing you on today, how did you look? Because Miami's tropical. So did you look at that? Was home an advantage? Did you look at your NFL schedule and go, okay, we got to go up north all through, December? How did you view it as a Miami coach, college or pro? Let's stick with mostly pro.
Well, the first thing I looked at, it was late in the season if I had to go north and if I was going to have to order me some thermal underwear. Because we didn't like going into the cold weather. But as far as, the Dolphin games and the University of Miami, early in the season, we felt like it was an advantage because our guys practiced in the heat and in the humidity, and they were accustomed to it. A lot of times in the fourth quarter, the opponents, they would struggle because they weren't accustomed to that humidity and that heat.
I thought it was interesting. Mike Zimmer is a very smart defensive coordinator. He's now in Dallas. I actually thought Dallas got a little bit of a break in their schedule, so it's going to take Mike a while to get that defense up and running. And if you start looking at November, December, January for the Cowboys, they're facing Jaden Daniels twice, Daniel Jones, Carolina. It's a lot of young and average quarterbacks. Now, am I overstating the fact that Zimmer will need time to get the defense right? But I look at that and I think, boy, that's about the time Zimmer's defense comes into its own. What do you make of it?
That's a good point there.
Yeah, I think that could be an advantage if they are still confident and if they're healthy going into the last part of their season. They've got some difficult games right off the bat. For instance, they go up to Cleveland, a great defense. They're going to have a young offensive line. That's going to struggle against, that pass rush of Cleveland. Then the third week, they've got Baltimore, a physical football team. I think the big thing is, the Cowboys have got to survive the early part of the season. They've got to survive not only confidence-wise, but also health-wise.
Yeah.
And if they do that, they can finish strong.
Yeah. So I actually thought, the NFL is strategic. They got the Kansas City Chiefs on 8 different networks. They know what they want to do. They gave Jim Harbaugh his 2 easiest games to start the season. They want Jimmy to go 2-0. But it's interesting. I watched Chicago and Caleb Williams. And at Fox, we would love for Chicago to be good. It's good for your pregame show. It's good for our ratings. Jimmy, that Chicago schedule. Not only do they open with Tennessee, they don't play a top 10 defense until week 11. Jimmy, they don't play the Packers, Lions, or Vikings, a divisional game, until week 11. I looked at that and I thought, man, that's a little bit of a break. They're not on national TV much early. I kind of thought, did you like to have your divisional games early or late if you have a young quarterback?
Well, with the young quarterback, you'd like to have him late, because with Caleb Williams...
I'm going to go ahead and end that there, because I got to go down, get the truckload of my tools, and meet Dan, who's going to be the team leader for the volunteers from them, and get ready to ride over here to the job site. So any news that breaks, we'll be, of course, bringing it to you. We'll be doing our live stream, of course, at 9 o'clock tonight. And be safe out there. I'm Mark Holmes, and I appreciate you guys. Peace.